Baby Wolf's Spanish Violin. Hello guys, in this video we're going to be talking about this piece and everything about all the difficulties that you may or may not have. This is for the cello part, of course, and believe it or not, this piece is actually extremely simple. As you can see, all these brackets with numbers, these are your sequences. There are 4 of them in this piece, and after the 4th one, you just repeat the first one, but with less measures. Then 2nd one, 3rd one, 4th one. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Pretty much after the first set, which is here, measure 14. Then once you repeat back the first set, which is these ones right here, they are repeated every 2 bars. So the entire piece is plucked, which is pizzicato. P-I-Z-Z stands, as you know, stands for pizzicato. Pizzicato means plucking. Now, if you have your bow in your hand, you could just grab it like this, then release these 2 fingers, your thumb and your index finger. Then you put your thumb somewhere here. It doesn't need to be all the way under the fingerboard, but just like here. Rest it relaxedly. Then you pluck by pulling the strings to the side like that. Don't pluck like this. That's a different technique that you don't do any of them just yet, right? So pull the string to the side and you let go. You already know how to pluck. Since this piece is completely in pizzicato, you don't have to hold onto your bow. So once you actually perform this piece, you and your stand partner, you guys would put your bow on your stand. In this case, I'm just gonna leave it on the table in case it's going to block the bottom line. And then you would do the same thing. Put your thumb here and then pluck with your index finger. Some people pluck with their middle. If you feel that your finger is starting to hurt, feel free to switch back and forth, right? And after a while, you're gonna create some sort of calluses on your skin. That's not going to hurt you anymore. It's just at first. And you don't have to pluck aggressively at all, right? And there's 4 of you. So if you just pluck relaxedly as piano even, it would totally work. See? That would be perfectly fine. Fine, I meant to say. And fun too, actually. Okay, so if you look up, first thing first, as you know, you have to look at your key signature and time signature. In this case, you have 2 sharps. We've done that scale. 2 sharps in major is D major. Remember, you start on your open D and you go all the way to 4th finger on A. Right? But in this case, we are actually in B minor. We haven't done that scale yet. But playing these notes in B minor, you pretty much think of D major, meaning every F and every C that you play in this piece, they have to be sharp, obviously, and they are sharp all the way to the end of the piece. There are no other accidentals, no naturals, no nothing else. So you stick with those sharps and then you'll be good to go. And just follow the sequences as you see them. So first one, B, D, F. As you can see, I wrote down your finger numbers as well. So 3, open, 3. Then you repeat that. In the first time you do it, you repeat it for 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6 bars. 6 bars. But slowly, of course. This is andante. And the second sequence is A, C sharp, E. That C, as you can see it, I wrote down upward arrow with number 4, which means that C is C sharp. It's not your regular 4th finger on G. That would be C natural, right? But we've already talked about that before. That's going to be extended 4th. But the A is on yellow, so normal, extended 4th, normal. Here you can see it better. So 1 extended fourth, E, A, C, E, A, C, E, C sharp that is, right? And again, if you can't reach without keeping your first finger on yellow, feel free to slide up a little bit, but keep in mind that you're not no longer in the first position, so you have to go back like this. The third sequence is very easy. You have two open strings, G, B, D, so open G, third finger, open, right? You could, the best way to do it, the easiest, is to actually make a tunnel. You don't have to exaggerate, I'm just showing it to you this way. Just make sure your hand is round like that so that you're not blocking the A string, D string. When you play your third on B, make sure the D string is free so that you're not blocking, you're not touching it by mistake. Then you can just let go when you need to. Let go of your third finger when you need to, and then go back and play your open G. The fourth sequence is going to be a little tricky because you're actually, there are different fingers and different positions to be able to play those notes. And of course, for more advanced students, there are better solutions. But in our case, I think one of the good ones is that since you have two extended fourths back to back and F sharp right here, as you can see. So F sharp, this is extended fourth on C, C sharp, this one is extended fourth on G, and regular F sharp. I think if you guys played all of that in extended position right here, so instead of playing your C in an extended fourth only where you hold down your first finger on yellow, you would pretty much shift up to the next tape to be on the extended position. In this position, your first finger is on white, second red, third blue, fourth another white, next white. So this would be your C sharp, F sharp. The next fourth finger on G string would be your C sharp. And then your second finger on red on D string is going to be your F sharp. So 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2. Now notice I cannot slide my finger across because even though my pinky is pretty large compared to yours, what I do is that I lift it up and place it down again for more accurate intonation. So 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2. White, white, red. As opposed to extended 4, 4, then 3 on regular F sharp. I think this would eventually create tension. It even hurts me. Well, I would actually do it in different fingers. I would do 3, 3, 1. This would be a lot easier. But I think for you guys, this would make a lot more sense as far as understanding where the fingers go. So 4, 4, 2. After the sequence 4 is done, to connect that back to the first sequence, the first notes on sequence 1 in sequence 1 is B. Now, when you started the piece, you played B, played that note with your third finger on G, right? But since you end your fourth sequence where your second finger is on the red tape, to make the smoothest transition between these two sequences, it would be very good. Again, it's optional. If you can just switch back to the first position, it's up to you. But it would help if you play the first notes of sequence 1, which is B, with your same second finger. And since the next note is open, that would give you time while you're playing open string anyways, that would give you some time to now shift back and then play the rest as you've played it in the first time. Did you get that? So again, second, open, shift back, and continue normally as you did the first time. So let me play all four sequences back to back, 2 bars for each. B, D, F sharp. Second one, A, C sharp, E, A, C sharp, E. Third one, G, B, D, G, B, D. And the fourth one is the one that you stay up. 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2. And then you could just move your second finger on G string to repeat back the first sequence. But the starting point of the first sequence, you start with your second finger, then open. While you're playing the open, you shift back and you are back to normal position. So just like that. So when you go back to your music, you could also highlight it. You've already done that for some of your pieces. You could highlight using different highlighters, different colors, but this would be, I mean, a very pretty weird angle. That's why my line's not straight. So this is your first, second, third, fourth. Then back to first, second, third, fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to the end. And the very last note that you play is B, first finger on A string. And let it ring until it fades on its own. This piece is fairly easy. Feel free to write down finger numbers for all the sequences if you need to. I think the only ones that you actually have to write down your fingers that you may forget is your fourth one. But feel free to write down all the fingerings for all the pieces. One last thing to mention is, obviously you're in 3/4, which means, again, 3 beats per bar, per measure, and each of your beats is a quarter note, because the bottom number is 4, and 4 stands for quarter notes. These 2 bars, as you can see, they're technically, it just shows it as one measure with number 2 on it. That means every time you have multiple measures of rest, to save a space and to avoid confusion, they write it that way so that you know you have 2 full measures of rest. So you have total of 6 beats of rest, then you start pizzicato, you start plucking. That's all I have to say about this piece, and have fun practicing, guys.